If you guys are seeing this video, it means that I got the courage to film, edit, and post it. I meant to do this in May for Mental Health Awareness Month, and I didn't get it done because I couldn't really bring myself to do it. I don't see a lot of attention drawn to this, and maybe I'm just on the wrong part of the internet, but I wanted to talk to you guys about body dysmorphia disorder. I have struggled with this disorder for about 4 years that I'm aware of. I don't know how to describe it to you, so I'm going to read you a definition that I found that is closest to what I was told it is and to what I believe it to be. Body dysmorphic disorder is an anxiety disorder that causes a person to have a distorted view of how they look and to spend a lot of time worrying about their appearance. For example, they may be convinced that a barely visible scar is a major flaw that everyone is staring at, or that their nose looks abnormal. So a lot of the time what it is a perceived flaw, and that's a flaw that the person with the disease sees but that nobody else really notices. For me, that has always been the skin on the underside of my neck and my nose and my waistline and the upper parts of my arms specifically. So as time goes on, the disorder can morph and it can become your whole body. That's your problem, which is where a lot of anorexia and bulimia comes from, as well as a lot of self-harm. Again, I am mostly speaking from experience, so if you want to know more about this, I would encourage you to look up some information on it after the video. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I sat down to do this, and I didn't script it because I wanted it to feel real, but even now as I'm speaking about it, I'm finding it very difficult to make eye contact with the camera. So I hope that this is engaging. I'm worried that it's not. I just want people to be aware of it. I don't think it's something that most people talk about. You hear about anorexia and bulimia and nervous disorders, anxiety disorders, and depression. I feel like this is something that doesn't see the light as much, but it can be a stepping stool to those other disorders, or it's a branch of those disorders. So for me, it manifests itself. Besides my appearance, I worry about how I'm sitting, I worry about how I'm standing, I worry about how every piece of clothing I wear fits on me. I don't really wear anything with confidence. Everything I do is centered around how I look, and I hate that. I'm a cosplayer, so whenever I take photos in my cosplays, I am very anal about how they look, how my nose looks, and how this part of my neck looks. I can look back at family pictures and pinpoint them, as in I can look at a photo and say, yes, I was sucking in my stomach there quite hard, as the waistline I have in a lot of my family photos is not a realistic waistline. And this escalated for me in a couple different ways that I don't know if I should go into here because I don't want to be triggering, but it manifests itself in that I don't believe that I'm worthy of love. And that's something that I'm working on. But for instance, there was a boy that I was quite infatuated with. I won't call it love, but I was led on numerous times, and it was made very clear to me that I was the second choice. I was the backup in case the first girl didn't work out. And for me, for that being the first person to really show an interest in me romantically, has left me feeling as though I don't deserve that, or if that I'm only worthy to be a second choice. I guess since that happened, I have obsessed more deeply about what's wrong with me or what I did wrong to make him think that I wasn't good enough. And he doesn't know any of this, and I don't think it would be right for me to put that on him. But it's something that I deal with, and I want you guys to know that that's something that can also happen, is that manifestation. It brings itself into your relationships, and it brings itself into your family ties and things that you didn't think it should. I didn't think that when I was little, and I was insecure, that it would manifest itself this way. Because when I was very young, I was having insecurities, and I think that's because my sister was always skinnier. I'm not blaming her, but I'm just saying that I was homeschooled, so I was often surrounded by people who were skinnier than me, and I've always been a little bit on the fluffy side, and I can't really control that. It's very difficult for me to lose weight, and it's actually very difficult for me to put weight on. I maintain, like, I can't do anything about my weight, really. And that's something I have to deal with, as I feel like a lot of my perceived flaws come from that. Like, I feel like, oh, if I was skinnier, then this part of my neck would be thinner, or if I was skinnier, my jaw would be more angular. It's a very obsessive thing, but that's the main thing about it, is the perceived flaw, is that it's perceived. And though I know my perceived flaws, I can't stop seeing them as a reality. So in a lot of pictures or videos of myself, I find it very difficult to edit or do anything with them, which is why it's so hard for me to be active on YouTube. And I know that sounds like an excuse, but I don't like when I sing that you can see this part of my neck coming down with my vocal cords when I use them. I don't like that my nose, when it faces forward, I don't like how it looks. I don't like how my profile looks. I don't think I'm an attractive person. And this is not said to instigate compliments. That's not my point in saying any of this. My point in saying this is that it is something I think attention needs to be drawn to, because when I was in 9th grade, I would have loved to see a video like this and to see someone just talk honestly about it with no silly music in the background and no like pictures, and someone who isn't necessarily having an eating disorder, but someone who is just mentally struggling with some things. And for me, it is a very long journey to recovery that I don't know if you can recover from something like this. It's something that you kind of realize that you just have to deal with. And that means wearing a bikini at the beach, but not wearing it at home, because people know me here, and I don't want them to see me in that sort of clothing and say, wow, she's really too heavy to be wearing that. It's wishing I could cover my nose and wishing that I could wear certain clothes that I don't feel I can, but somewhere in myself I know that I can, but it's more of fighting that part of myself that doesn't think I'm worth it. And even now I'm looking in the viewfinder because I want to make sure I'm looking at myself from a good angle, and that's very obsessive of me. I shouldn't even have the viewfinder turned this way because I know that it does that to me. But I'm noticing that it's starting to hinder the pictures I post on Instagram. I cosplay Harley Quinn, and that costume is a little revealing, even for me. It's hard for me to look at it and not edit out my flaws. Perceived or not, I want to get rid of them, and I can't. So I think that's it. I just wanted to say that to you guys. I wanted to bring up rejection, I wanted to bring up the eating disorders, I wanted to bring up numerous things, and I think I did that for you guys. If you guys have any questions, I don't know if I'm the person to come to, but I would definitely be interested in answering them. I wish I had had someone who knew what I was talking about when I said that I had this and when I found out that I had this. And it is not a death sentence. It may feel like one because you look at yourself and you think, that's horrible. And it's something that takes over your daily life, and I feel like it's something that's pushed my friends away because they think I'm seeking attention, and I'm just seeking to be better. And physically, I can't. And that's something I struggle with every day. So, sorry this is late. I really did mean to put this out in May, and I didn't do it. I just couldn't bring myself to. And I'm charging my camera because it died when I opened it up, and I said, oh, it's a sign, like I don't need to do this, but I needed to do this, I think. If you sat through this whole video of me being very mellow for my channel, thank you, and I hope that it was helpful to you. If you want to learn more, I'm probably going to leave some links in the description for sites that you can go to if you would like to investigate this further, if you think you may have it. It doesn't fix it to know that you have it, but it makes it feel a lot less of a burden. Like, you can look at yourself and see that your stomach is something that you don't like, but you can say that's okay, that might be my perceived flaw. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video, which will be much more lighthearted than this. And I'm sorry to those of you who this isn't the kind of content you like to see, but I felt like it needed to be said, so thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!